Hello, friends. I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful day. We are going to put together projects number 1 and project number 2 of the August 2023 Stamp of the Month kit. So this is going to be the little 8x6 mini album pages. You guys know that we usually just keep these album pages really, really simplistic, but it's a fun way for those who card making is not their first love. It's a fun way for them to be able to participate in the Stamp of the Month kit and to gradually build an album throughout the year. I always love to tell the story that I have a sweet, sweet customer who's been with me for many, many, many years, and she actually will create 4 of the very same layouts each month. So she will take the one that she gets pre-cut from me and she will triplicate that by the help of the cutting guide that she has received in the Cricut Design Space file. And she does that because she has 3 grown daughters, and she will build an album for them throughout the year, and it's part of their Christmas present at the end of the season. So she makes 1 for her and she gives 3 away. And she says, Suze, really, it doesn't take me that much longer to make 3 of them or 4 of them than it does 1. I already have everything out and I just kind of put it together assembly line style. And I think that's a great idea. And I know a lot of my ladies, those of who will be watching this, enjoy making the albums, and they really like the quick and easy simplisticness of, there's not a lot of, mixed media and not a lot of embellishing, and it's just really fast and simple to put together with not a lot of time or expense. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It's not going to take us very long at all. Now, one of the things that I want to mention before we get going is that clearly, guys, all you have to do is look at the August Stamp of the Month kit to know that it's really geared towards sympathy, losing of a loved one, comfort when they're hurting, that kind of thing. And so this was really challenging to use on a scrapbook page like we did for the mini album pages here. It was really challenging. And so I mentioned that because you'll notice that the entire layout could hold any kind of photos that you might like to put in there. And if they are not of, for my layout, I have photos of my husband's dad, who I just adored, and Codeman when he was about 3 years old. So those of you who see pictures of my kiddo on Facebook and have watched him grow up through the years. This was Codeman when he was about 3. So he was ridiculously adorable. But that was his Papa Robert. And we lost him several years ago. And so I thought, well, the only way that I could think of kind of tying this in to use the stamp set on a page would be to put photos of a loved one that is no longer with us. And so that's what I did for my pages. But if you guys just say, Suze, I just want to use the kit that's provided and I'm going to put something that's not of that nature, you can just omit the 2 stamped little areas down here with these sentiments. You can either put a different sentiment on there, or you can completely leave it blank. It's not like a great big open space that needs something to kind of fill it in. It'll be absolutely fine. So you don't have to create your pages with a sympathy, loss of loved one nature by just removing the stamped images, and we'll be good to go. So we'll quickly go ahead before we get into the assembly part. And like I said, guys, we're going to fly through this. It won't take us very long at all, but we'll just get our stamping done super quickly. And like you guys know, this is how I roll with the Misty. I love it. So we're going to stamp on the 2 striped glacier pieces. And so I am going to bring one of them down here, and I have Goodbye Isn't Forever, Love Is over on the bottom left. Now, what I am going to do to check my, to make sure that I am about the correct space is I am going to place my photo here just to kind of check it. It looks really good. I did place these little scraps of the brown dotted paper. You guys have those in your kit, of course, just to add a little bit of color down there and brighten some little of the white dots on there. I really liked those. So I have room to place that back behind my photo. I have plenty of room over here on the left to add my dots. And so that looks good. So I'm going to remove the photo because I don't need to keep it in there anymore. And we will place our magnets down. I don't know. Whoops. I don't know if it'll hold that corner or not. So we may have to get the Tombow out. newer stamps that have not been stamped just a ton, I find tend to almost stick to the paper. So it wants to kind of lift it up a little bit. You need to get it seasoned just a few times, and then it kind of chills out a little bit. But lately I have noticed that some of my paper has been lifting up. So I do find myself just grabbing a little tiny bit of Tombow on the back there to kind of hold it down. But it looks like the magnets are going to be okay. You know, I always say that I do a terrible job of re-inking my ink pads, and that's very true. But girls, I just don't have skills re-inking my ink pads. It's kind of like me and liquid glue. I just tend to get too much, or I don't get enough, and it's pointless, and it's just ridiculous. I have no skills. So to me, I can extend a rather dry ink pad with a Misty because I can stamp a few times and kind of even out those those splotchy patches that you get when you have a non an ink pad that needs to be re-inked. And so it's like my way to kind of fix that, to kind of fix that issue of mine. So one of the things that I did in order to make this sentiment work for a scrapbook page is the sentiment on the stamp set says, I hope you can find some comfort in the stories, the laughs, and the joyful memories that will be with you forever. So that is clearly a card sentiment, right? Because you're giving it to someone else to read. So all I did was I took my scissors and I cut off, I hope you, okay? Or I hope you can, pardon me. I cut off, I hope you can. So my sentiment says, find some comfort in the stories, the laughs, and the joyful memories that will be with you forever. And see how easy that turned a card sentiment into something that we could use on a scrapbook page, right? Because it just essentially became a caption, and the grammar was correct and all that good stuff. So then if I want to use it as a card sentiment, all I have to do is put the two pieces back together, either on a block or on the lid of my stamping platform, and no one will ever know that you cut them apart. So don't ever be afraid to do that, guys. I promise you will not hurt it. You're just giving yourself additional, variations of your sentiments and portions of your stamp. And I love that. So I'm just, again, double checking how I am with the spacing, and that looks just fine. Okay, we're perfect. We are perfect. So let's get this held down with our magnets. Pick it up. And a quick bit of stamping, and we'll be done with this part. This really is just kind of the fun part about these pages, guys, is that they really are just crazy fast. So you'll be able to put them together really quickly. I also have a customer who, her son actually graduated, since she told me this story years ago, but her son was in traveling ball. And so she said, I feel like on the weekends I lived in a hotel room, and the rest of the evenings of the week I lived in the bleachers of the basketball court. And so what she began doing was taking her stamp of the month kits, because if you guys pay attention to the supply listing, and you can find it over on the blog, just crazyblessed.blogspot.com. And you can find it over on the blog, and it will give you the supply listing. So for instance, the inks and things like the tools, if we use just stencil or something like that, that you guys would need if you wanted to put your pages together exactly like mine. And so you'll notice that it's a very small supply list, okay? There's not a whole lot of this and that. You don't need a lot of fancy, expensive tools or anything like that. A few ink pads, package of embellishments, usually like your adhesive and a journaling pen, and you're good to go. So she had said, since the supply listing was so small, she was able to take those kits and, you know, a few ink pads and a few blocks and that kind of thing, and she would actually work on them while she was at the gym and in the hotel room. And she said it kind of turned into something that was almost a little bit stressed for me, because I feel like every time I turned around, I was like being a chauffeur, and I couldn't get anything done for myself. And she said it almost kind of became a little bit of me time too. And I thought that was a really great way to look at it. I love that. So maybe think about doing that on ways that you guys can take your kits with you. Pack you a little baggie, bring you a little lap board. A Close to My Heart scrapbooking album works perfect for a lap board. put the spine next to your belly and put the album on your lap, and it's like makes it almost completely level. It's so cool. So what I did was I put a little bit of adhesive down because it's a little bit easier to put adhesive down onto the base page than it is to put it on the thin strips. So I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch from the top, and I should turn this back so that I can use my grid on the Versamat, but the light is just, the light is glaring so badly tonight. So I am just kind of moving it over here where I can see a little bit better, and we're going to kind of wing it. Okay. So for these little pieces, I just put adhesive on the base page, but I've left 1/8 of an inch up at the top. And you guys know, I mean, you would probably know anywhere. That is just like my signature move, right? I just love to have, oops, there we are at the end of a tombow. I knew that was going to happen, so I had another one here ready. I love the frames and the borders, and it's so easy on a scrapbook page to leave just a little hair of the base page showing at the top. It's so easy, and I just love it. I just feel like it adds just a little pop of brightness up there on a white base page. So fun. Okay, so this 1/2 inch strip as well. We'll get this one down here. This is a 4x6 photo on this side. There's a 4x6 photo on the other side as well. And then I have 4x3 layered on top and a 3x3 layered on top. So you guys, if you had 2 4x3s, I'm sure that you could make that work. You know, you just want to make sure you're not covering up someone's face and things like that. But super duper quick and easy. Let's see. Grab, this is the right one. Okay. We're going to leave our 1/8 inch border at the bottom as well, so the top will match the bottom. Now, you may or may not have seen it, but my light blue piece is just kind of overlapping my blue a smidge. No one will ever know, don't worry. But it's overlapping just a smidge to make my top white match my bottom white. Okay, so that is totally on purpose, and I don't know, I love how easy it is to kind of make those adjustments. No one will ever know, but now I have matching white space. So I'm grabbing my doodling pin, I'm running around the edge just to add a little bit of interest down there. It's like the journaling pin says to me that the bare space has not been forgotten. It just feels a little more finished, like a little bit of frosting, if you will. Okay, so we've got our main pieces in. Let's grab our 4x3 photo. I already have the foam tape on the back of my yellow flowers because it's something less that you guys have to watch me put together and do. See, so I am just a little under 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And like I said, if you've got someone's head down here at the bottom of your 4x6, you don't want to put a picture over somebody's head, right? So use caution when you're doing that. But if you have a photo that has some really great open space, kind of like mine did, nobody cares about seeing the edge of the bed of a truck. But it's a great way to kind of fill in that space. And I just really, in my artwork, you guys will notice there's a lot of overlap that happens. I just love the look of, I love the look of paper and pictures overlapping things. I feel like it just looks a little more fluid. Everything kind of flows together a little bit better. And it's not like, it doesn't look as choppy. Like you have a photo and then you have paper and then you have a photo and then you have paper. You have all this you know, stuff that just feels like it goes together because it's on the same page, but it doesn't really feel like it's meshing well. Does that make sense? And so I feel like overlapping things, just little bits here and there, just really kind of solidifies that. So I tucked my little flower just up underneath the edge of the photo there, and I'm taking off the foam tape on the back of this yellow flower. This is the regular foam tape. You guys could use thin 3D foam tape if you would rather, but I did just use the regular. So I'm not committing to that just in case I have to lift it up to put my leaves under. But I like to place my leaves in accordance to where my flowers are. I don't want to put my leaves down and then put my flowers on top. I feel like that's backwards in my brain. So to me, I need to be able to put the leaves down after I know where that flower is sitting. Okay, and it looks like it's going to work just fine. I didn't want to smush it down because you guys know foam tape is no joke, right? It is no joke. So like once it's down, it's usually down if you push on it. So I usually like to wait until I'm very confident with where it's going to go or where it needs to be. So adding a little bit of adhesive on the back of our other leaves. We're going to piggyback those as well. And we'll grab some adhesive on this little guy. And same thing, we are just going to nobody cares about the Applebee's sign. Not putting anything on Code Man's head, but I don't really care what the Applebee's sign says either. So again, think about just some areas on your pages. Maybe that's a new concept to you guys, and that's okay. But just some areas on your pages or on your photos that's just maybe even not even just blank space. Maybe it's an eyesore. Maybe you've got an eyesore on your photo that you would actually kind of like to cover up. Well, you can do it perfectly with just a little bit of embellishments or a Cricut cut or overlapping a little piece of paper or something like that. It's super easy, and I feel like it just does a great job of kind of covering up some of those places you don't want to see, right? So we're going to do the same thing on the right page. They're fairly identical. So again, putting a little bit of adhesive down so that I can put these smaller strips on. I'm just going to line up my right page with my left page because that's really just the easiest way to make sure that you're getting symmetry happening. Okay. So challenging with that crazy overhead light. Oh my goodness. Sorry if you guys keep hearing my voice change. I'm standing up and sitting down and standing up and sitting down. And so my voice is a little bit closer and sometimes further away from the microphone. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, so now we will grab our next 4x6 photo. And it is just going to do the same thing that the other ones did. It's just going to pop right up underneath the rest of our layers. Okay. And so then the next one, we have a small strip of the toffee. It's still toffee. Next month, you'll see acorn. That's very close to toffee. And then we'll grab our sapphire pattern paper. Now, if you guys are watching this during the month of August, I still have a few add-on kits left, okay? Now there's a video on the YouTube channel and also pinned to the top of the Facebook page that goes all over the kits, start to finish. I did also, with the big workshop, the big Celebrate workshop, I also use the print and cut pieces that I created for it that you guys will get in the add-on kit. So if you're listening to this or you watch the video and you're like, man, Suze, I'd love to do your workshop, but I don't have a Cricut, or I have a Cricut and I don't know how to use it. That's the beauty of the add-on kit. The add-on kit has all the Cricketing done for you. So it not only is going to save you money, it's going to save you time as well. And those are both good things, right? So you can still be able to put together that great 14-page 12x12 workshop and not have a Cricut or not feel confident using your Cricut creating the print and cut. But what I did was, after I filmed that video at the first of the month going over all of the kits that you can earn free during August, I took the print and cut pieces and several of the leftover embellishments that were left over from the workshop, and I put together a bunch of really awesome cards. They were really, really awesome with some great thin cuts, and oh my gosh, I love them. I love them. So if you have not seen that video, that's the newer one here on the YouTube channel. So you can take a peek at that to have a look at those cards. But also, if you guys have already gotten a hold of the workshop files, maybe you are a consultant and you want to offer them to your own customers, and you grab them through the PayPal link over on the blog, or if you're a customer of mine and you earned them free with an order. Either way, if you guys go back and look at the Google folder that has all of the cutting files and everything in them for the workshop, I have loaded up close photos of all of those greeting cards. So if you guys want to use that as inspiration and create your own greeting cards, you absolutely can. The fun thing about the print and cut is that you guys can print and cut as many of them as you would like. It's awesome. So definitely go in and utilize the beauty of having access to that cutting file and the design space link, okay? You don't have to just put the one workshop together. You can use that over and over for different projects if you would like, okay? Because you have access to it now. It is your baby. Okay, so I am going to overlap this one because it's not on a head. You guys probably can't see this. We're going to chase a buffalo. You probably can't see this, but this was Randy's daddy's. Sometimes you know how men are kind of attached to a pickup or something. Well, he really liked that truck. And so my husband and his brother and both of his sisters thought that he might like to be carried to the cemetery in the back of his truck. And so the funeral director in our town is just an awesome, awesome guy. And so he took the truck for a couple days and got it all rigged up and got the braces and everything put in the back. And so they did. They took him right to the cemetery, just right over by our home, in the back of his pickup. It was really kind of a cool thing. If that could be cool, it was kind of cool for our family. But okay, so now let's just add a few dots, guys, and then we'll be done. I told you they'll be really, really fast. Of course, like always, I did more talking. It took longer to talk about it than it did to actually do them, right? But you know, that's just kind of how we roll around here. So let's see if we have enough white dots. I don't know if we will or not. I usually run out of the dots before I run out of any other shape. And so we may not get them all done. I may have to get into my cabinet and get more dots out after I turn the camera off, but we'll see how many we can get on here while you guys are watching. This is the part that's like just watching paint dry. In the membership nowadays, I don't normally even put these on while the camera is on. I usually just say, okay, girls, imagine I'm putting dots on here, and I won't make you watch it. It just feels super silly to make somebody sit through that because there's really nothing difficult about it, right? So maybe instead of a little tiny white dot, I will grab a heart here. And I think we can get that cohesiveness that is like my word, the word that is my goal every time I put a layout together. A 2-page layout has to be cohesive. It's got to have things that are on the left over on the right too. So if they get lost in the supermarket, they know that they belong together, right? So I have heart dots on the left page, and now I have heart dots on the right page as well. So maybe that will work instead of having the small white dot there that I am missing. And it's, you know, it's a good feeling to be able to use up more of your packages rather than focusing on the same thing or the same color or the same size and using all that up and then having all the leftovers, right? So one of my favorite tips with the dots is I love to take the, any color dot, like kind of the ones that we have left over, and I need to use them up. So I like to take my black marker, my black alcohol marker, or I will use a Sharpie. A Sharpie works really well too. And you can color on top of them. Here is where I'd started a little bit of brown to color some of them. So you can do colors of dots that we don't have if you want to use lighter color dots underneath, as opposed to, your marker obviously needs to be darker than that. I actually have a project right next to me that I created for a membership class, and I'm just going to show you because it illustrates this so perfectly. So this is actually a brown Sharpie, okay? And it's on top of an orange, like one of those old Halloween color dots. But if the camera will show it, it looks like this amazing shiny cherry color, like cherry wood. It looks amazing. And so the Sharpie on top of a white dot did not look like that, but the Sharpie on top of the orange dot did. So you could play around with them, and, you know, start with lighter color markers. And if you don't like the color, well, then get your black out, and your black will cover the whole thing up, right? But when you have a bunch of dots that maybe, you know, maybe you are to the end of your paper collection, or quite frankly, you just keep ending up with a bunch of these extras of these same ones and you want to use them up, right? Since our new dots have 3 colors in them, there may be a color in there that you don't really care for, or a color that is not in paper packs and it's just kind of sitting there. That's perfect. Get a dark color marker out and color over it, and then you have a dot to match what you're working on now. And it's a great feeling to completely use up your packages, right? Use them up and then you can buy another one. So I didn't get to finish the one on the left page. That's okay. I didn't get to finish it because I don't have enough dots and I'll have to get into another package, but the original has them all on there, and you'll see, like I said, we did way more talking than we did working probably, but it was really, really fast. So the video should be already loaded where we put together the cards. And if you guys have any questions, if you have received a kit, remember, these kits are totally free. It's not like I'm not a salesman. You're not going to get roped into anything. It's not a commitment. You don't have to order every month. You're not joining a club. I will never hound you to place an order. In my almost 15 years of being a consultant, I've never hounded anyone about an order even one time. So don't worry about that. They're just a thank you gift from me to let you know that I'm grateful for you choosing to do business with me and helping to put food on my family's table. Honestly, helping to put food on our table. So it's just a thank you gift. It will come shipped right to your door. You will not be in charge of paying shipping or anything like that. It's just going to come right to your door, and it's all pre-cut and packaged for you. You have your base pages. You have all of your card bases and envelopes. All of those pieces are already cut and put down there for you. You have your layout pieces inside the zip top baggie. And over on the blog, I mentioned that earlier, it'll show you what colors of ink I used and those other little details. Now, the only thing that I use that is a consumable product that is not included in your kit, pardon me for the yawning, are just a few of the black and white dots. So you guys can use bling from your stash, or you can add a package of black and white dots to your order. It's up to you, but that's the only consumable piece that is not included. Everything else is right there for you guys. So you'll get that, and you have the files that will come so that you can use those to either cut more kits. You can use the design space link to cut more of individual projects if you would like. But really, it is just a resource, another resource for you guys to get a lot of mileage out of your brand new stamp set that you got a great deal on, right? So if you have questions about my program in general, or becoming a VIP with Close to My Heart, or maybe joining our Creative Collaboration membership group with almost 400 previously streamed classes, you could do that as well. Just reach out to me, leave a comment below, where you're welcome to message me or send me an email. All of my information, you can find it in all the places, but it really is my pleasure to serve. So I thank you guys for joining me today. I am so grateful. I hope the rest of your day is wonderful, and I will see you next time.